Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Darius Stevenson. And on today's episode, I got to give you some updates about these future cats and let you know where I stand on them, right? So first of all, I want to talk about a potential recruit, Ian Jackson, right? And Ian Jackson is a 5-star player in the 2004 class, but a lot of people are starting to feel like it's very likely that he may end up committing to Kentucky. So this is a kid that, he just popped up on my radar. I ain't really got to, really watch too many clips of him and see what I think about him. So at some point during the week, I'll probably start checking him out, and I'm probably eventually end up doing a video about what I think of him, what I think his game is like, and, different things like that. But to stick to the ones for 2003, so this past weekend, they had another EYBL session, and I think it was in Kansas City. And one of my main objectives was to actually watch DJ Wagner, because I had said that, he had been kind of disappointing in the last session. So I wanted to see how he would actually bounce back and perform in this next session. And unfortunately, he didn't play in the session. He actually is playing Team USA ball. So, I didn't really get a chance to really see anything after that. I haven't seen any clips of the Team USA stuff or whatever. But one thing that I can say that was favorable was it really looked like his team definitely needed him out there, right? And you could definitely feel that his presence was missed. And that's always going to be a good thing, right? When you have a guy and you just feel like when you watch the team play without him, it's just a whole different team and they really need him, then that kind of lets you know maybe, maybe he might be as good as advertised, just based off of how badly his team needed him to be able to perform up to their capabilities. But still, right now, 24/7 Sports, if you haven't heard, they actually rescinded their crystal ball prediction, and they said that things are heating up so much with Kentucky that it's not really safe to say that DJ to Louisville is a done deal necessarily. And, like I said, that's a good thing for us. Yeah, I definitely was disappointed with the way that DJ played in that last session, and I was super excited to get Rob Dillingham. But like I said, I would love to have both of these kids playing guards at Kentucky, right? I do think that they both seem to be capable of playing either position. So they could work on, some of the skills that they may need to polish up. They could work on some of their combo guard skills together and still potentially be a great backcourt at Kentucky, right? Who knows? Maybe we might see another combination like Fox and Monk, you know what I mean? John Wall and Bledsoe, Tyler Ulis and Murray. Maybe we might have another one of those really standout combinations, man. So hopefully we'll see. I believe potentially he could be making his decision at the Peach Jam. I'm not really for sure. I know there are several other players that are probably going to announce their decision at the Peach Jam. Pretty sure Aaron Bradshaw is, and Justin Edwards may be announcing his. So hopefully, they'll all be coming together. We'll wait and see. But I am very hopeful. I'm crossing my fingers now that it seems like Kentucky is getting heavy in the mix and making things a little tougher for Louisville, because everybody had just pretty much locked it up that DJ was going to Louisville, and now it looks hopeful for Kentucky. So we'll just have to wait and see. But with that being said, I do want to talk about all the other kids' performances at this last session, right? And to be honest with you, they were all really inconsistent. They all had some okay games. Aaron Bradshaw had about 2 or 3 good games, but he had some bad ones in there too. Justin Edwards had a few really nice games, but he had some bad ones. Rob Dillingham may have had 1 or 2 good games, but a lot of these kids, they just played pretty poorly for for some reason this session they all kind of was just really inconsistent, man. They missed a whole lot more shots than they normally was making in some of the other sessions that I seen. No, they just kind of played. They all played pretty poorly, man. Like, I can't really sugarcoat it. I can't really explain it any other way. They all had some moments when you look at them and you see exactly why they ranked where they supposed to be ranked. You can tell why that some of these top 5 power schools is looking at some of these kids. You can see it. The talent is there, but the consistency is not quite at a really like high level to where you just know when they touch the court, it's just going to be, a top-notch performance. Like, last session, I seen some of that in some of these kids. I seen them perform really consistent and play really well. But for some reason, it must have just been something in the water. But none of these kids was really just lighting it up every night. They all had some pretty pitiful moments, man. So I don't know if it was just, everybody just was worn out. Maybe they just weren't into it. I have no idea. Some of these kids have already announced, their college commitments. So maybe they might just be, reeling it in a little bit, if you will. Just trying, to play a little safe and, or maybe they might have been trying to let some other people shine to try to help. Who knows? But, yeah, man, they all had moments where they looked really bad. Like, I just got to be honest about that. Aaron Bradshaw had a couple games where, like, the performances that he gave that were strong were really strong. It was like I think he had a couple of strong double performances. He might have had like some 20s and 12 type of games. Like I can't really remember all the stats right off the top of my head, but he had a couple of really strong performances. Justin Edwards had like a couple of strong performances where he was scoring and shooting from the outside really well. But all of them had some games where they just shot terrible. Like they might have went like, I think Rob, he might have had a game where he went 0 for 5 from 3, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he was shooting bad, But the one thing that I still like about Rob is no matter how he's playing, whether he is he's shooting the ball really well or if he's shooting the ball really poorly, he still always seems to consistently hit a high percentage of his free throws. So at the end of the day, even if he's shooting the ball bad, hopefully he still be able to get to the line and be effective and be able to contribute some kind of way. Like I said, some of these boys are just shooting terrible, man. And I don't know, I can't really explain it. And even Bronny James, like the last session I watched Bronny James, he played pretty bad. And then he just played in this with this blue chip elite or whatever it was. He played in a tournament LeBron was coaching, and this was right after his his rankings just dropped. He was like 30th and he dropped all the way to 60th. And then people were saying like, okay, so that drop in the ranking must have pissed him off, or maybe it woke him up, or just whatever the case may be. It like lit a fire on him. That's what everybody was saying. So I was kind of really expecting to see like him come out in this session and just really just light it up. And just honestly, he played just as bad as he did in the past session. Like he just really didn't play well. So I don't know what it is, man, but all the guys that I was particularly paying attention to, they just really didn't do much in this session, man. It might have been some other guys that was showing up and playing strong, but it just wasn't the guys that I was paying attention to, because mostly I'm going to watch the guys that Kentucky has an eye on. And, every once in a while I'm going to check out a guy like Bronny just because he's so hyped up because of his father. So, I got to check on him. But, yeah, all of our guys, they look really bad, man. But, at the end of the day, I'm still really excited. I hope that, I hope we get Justin Edwards still, Bradshaw, Wagner. If we get that group of guys, man, I will feel really confident about that class. Now, will I feel confident enough to say that it's one of the best Kentucky classes ever? Maybe on paper it might be one of the top ones, but, you still got to just come out and see, man. When it all boils down to it, you still really talking about a lot of guys that are just physically kind of underdeveloped. Because you look at a lot of these kids, they mostly tall, skinny guys, like, and you know how physical college basketball can be. You look at guys like Oscar Tshiebwe, like he's a physical force. You know, when you run it up against guys like that, are you going to be able to handle them with your 195-pound centers? Like, you know, it just could, you know, that could be one of the things that maybe hurt some of these boys. But they still got another year to grow. They still got another year to develop. So hopefully they are still working on their skills and they get in the weight room and they're going to get their bodies in shape and get strong and be ready. And hopefully they all come to Kentucky, man. And we can get back to, you know, things can get looking good again like they supposed to, man. Because this year's team, I feel like, is going to make some real noise. And then hopefully, you know, when we bring in the next wave of people, they could be, you know, really nice pieces to add to what we may have still left from this team. And hopefully, man, we can just get the tradition back, man, to where we are a powerhouse again. And we are a team that you can't sleep on. So I know, like, you know, a lot of people think some of these SEC teams are creeping up on Kentucky. They got Arkansas, Tennessee, some of these other schools, and, you know, potentially could be doing deals with some of these other ACC teams I heard, like Clemson, North Carolina, you know, some other schools like that. So, you know, you never know what the SEC is going to look like, but Kentucky needs to get back to just being completely dominant like we have been. And hopefully this year's team and next year's recruits, if we get everybody, should be able to restore the balance. But hey, man, who knows? But anyways, y'all let me know, did anybody out there actually watch this EYBL session? And if you did, what did you think about our guys, man? Did you see the same thing I did, or did you see anything different? And, you know, once again, always let me know what you think about this whole DJ Wagner situation. If you think we're going to get him now, or if you think he's still going to Louisville, let me know. And also tell me about Ian Jackson, because like I said, right now, I don't really know anything about him, so I got to start doing a little bit of research on him. But if you know something, let me know, and we'll get back at it next time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.